Hello, and welcome to I'll Knit With You. My name is Rebecca. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Steam as EvilTwin2. You can find show notes on the blog, owlknitwithyou.blogspot.com. You can find us on Ravelry, owlknitwithyou, or you can email me at owlknitwithyou@gmail.com. Hi guys, how are all my owls and my yous? You may notice this is a totally different look than ever before. I moved, and that is one big reason for the delay in podcasting. The other is because, of course, in moving you lose everything. And so I know my tripod and my camcorder got moved. I got camcorder, it's a digital camera. I know it got moved, but I'm not sure where it's all ended up, and the SD card wasn't in it when it moved. And I think I know where that is too, but I haven't had the time to put them all together. It has been quite a ride. This is my new bedroom. I usually used to record in my bedroom, but usually couldn't see my bed in the background. I think in future recordings, I'll be recording in that little area right there. My camera's reversed. I'm using my computer camera, and it's very confusing. But since I don't have a tripod, and that's kind of in the middle of the floor, there's no good way to set that up. So today I am podcasting in front of my bed, which I feel like is a little weird. And if you couldn't tell, we are deep into blather, like right off the bat. So let's rewind a little bit. We've got all of July to talk about because Little Miss Podcaster here was a bit busy and didn't have time to sit in front of a computer and talk for an hour. So I had the 4th of July, because that's been a thing that happened since then, and it was awesome. I spent it with my grandparents. So during the 4th of July, I took pictures for a finished object that I haven't been able to show you guys, but I'll be showing you guys in Defeated Foes. We are still doing the Spring Summer Spectacular Sock Along Cal, and we are still doing hashtag socks for Cece, even though she's already moved, but we're finishing out through the Cal for that hashtag. And I did pull a June winner, but because I only want to announce one winner per podcast, I am not going to announce July's winner just yet. But the June winner is Pocketses. And if you don't know who won in the month before June, which is May, then you might want to check my last podcast, because you might be a winner. I haven't heard from that winner yet. So, previous winner and Pocketses, please let me know that you've seen this. If you want to wait until the whole thing is over, I understand. But as of today, I'll be announcing the last prize. So, you can just pick from those. And speaking of prizes, those prizes are, we have a skein from my trip to New York, which is the Mediterranean Landscape by Pablo Picasso. It is an art Zen Garden yarn. It is the Superfine Glitter, 90% Superfine Superwash Merino, and 10% Sparkling Nylon. So if you would like this skein and you have won, let me know. But we have more stuff that you can win. You could win this beautiful Lemongrass by Knitwit Victory Sock. It is 80% Superwash Merino and 20% Nylon. Or you could win this bag of sock making goodies, which has a tape measure and a small pair of scissors, and it is perfect size for just like one pair of socks. And it comes with a sock ruler, which I freaking love these things. That's one of the prizes. And our newest prize from SSK, which I'm going to tell you guys all about, is Lollipop Yarn. Yeah, you heard, I'm giving away Lollipop Yarn. It is the shimmy base, or I'm sorry, it's the traditional base, and the shimmy is the colorway, and it comes with this coordinating sock, heels and toes, whatever you use it for, color. Look at that, it's gorgeous. It's so pretty. I can't figure out where my camera is. So, very nice stuff. So let me know if you won, because you could get one of those prizes, and how awesome would that be? It'd be fantastic. I went to Holiday World, which is a theme park in Indiana. I've gone twice. I remembered that through the place that I work at, we actually get free tickets. And so I went with a group of 4 friends, or 4 including me. And then I recently went with one of my friends who's never been before. So that was a lot of fun. It has a lot of wooden roller coasters, which kind of like tear you up after a while because they just kind of jostle you around a lot. And we got off one, and we were pretty sure we all had some degree of brain damage because we just kind of felt sick afterwards. But there is also a water park, which is incredible, and we spent a lot of our time there. I've been reading, I'm going to tell you about SSK, just hold on. I've been reading a ton of books. So I have 2 big recommendations, and one is The Professor and the Madman. It's actually the story of how the dictionary came to be, which sounds like it really wouldn't be that interesting, but it involves murder, it involves insane asylums, it involves the newspaper. It involves a lot more things than I thought it would have involved, and I actually thought when I picked up this book that it was a work of fiction and not a true story. And it is a true story, which is pretty freaking crazy. The other book I would recommend is called Caravel. I have linked to both of those in the show notes, so if you want to see who they're by and stuff like that, that's where that is. I didn't actually write that down because I'm irresponsible. But The Professor and the Madman and Caravel. Amazing books. I've been working my way through the Chronicles of St. Mary's, which is about some historians. But that's all I'm going to tell you because it's actually really, really fascinating. And I have enjoyed every book that I've read. I think I'm on my 3rd or 4th book of the series. There's a lot of like 2.5s and 0.5s and it jumps around a lot. But that's kind of how St. Mary's is anyway. So I'm not really sure which order I've read the books in because I usually just look up whatever book is next. And sometimes you're getting the straight through and sometimes you're getting the 2.5s. And so I don't know how accurate my reading has been. I just usually hit yes, let's go. Next book, come on. Because during Prime Day, if you bought books through Amazon Prime, which is how I read most of the books on the Kindle app, for every book that you bought, you could get 40% back for a book or something. There was a deal, and so I bought like most of the series then. So it was pretty great. And now to tell you a little bit about SSK. If you don't know what SSK is, it is the Super Summer Knit Together. This was the 2017. I believe this was the 6th year. And it is hosted by the podcasters, the Knit Girls. That's with 3 L's in the word girls. And it is in Nashville, Tennessee. That is where my brother lives. So I stay with him the whole time. And it is a several-day knitting retreat. You sign in on Wednesday and you check out on Saturday or Sunday. And it was awesome. So they always give us a great goodie bag. And this was our goodie bag this year. It's very hardcore denim and durable. It's got 2 pockets on the side. And it's got this cute logo. And it's always filled with so much good stuff, and it is usually pretty deep, so you can carry on good projects with you. This year, we got this beautiful self-striping yarn song by Fish Knits. It's Strong Heart. It's a 2-ply fingering, and this is at 6s and 7s. Sorry, I couldn't read that for a second. The content is 80% superwash and 20% merino wool. I'm sorry, it is 80% superwash wool and 20% nylon because Rebecca can't read. It is gorgeous and it is a self-striping, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how that all turns out. The big cool gift, besides the yarn, in our goodie bags this year was a portable scale. Now it only weighs up to 100 grams, but it's perfect if you're doing a project on the go and you want to weigh something in the car or at a desk or whatever. I look like more of a drug dealer with this in my purse. I don't carry it with me every day. But if I know I'm going to have a project that I need to weigh stuff on, it's pretty great. Let me get it out of the box and show you guys. If I can figure out how to open the box. So it's this little bitty scale. And it has a pop-out side thing that measures everything. So you would just turn it on. And then, boom, you're scaling. And there's a tear and everything. A tear button to like clear out the numbers. Yeah. Turn it back off. Pocket scale. It's so cool. I think everyone was pretty delighted. There's also a ton of other goodies and codes for different yarn shops that you can get discounts on. I always enjoy when people give us stitch markers. This is from House of Yarn. It's a local to Nashville yarn shop. And I got one of those wooden sheep, so maybe it'll give a sweater in the future. There was lots of other little goodies like candy and stuff like that, and rulers. There was a bracelet that's a ruler. But it's been a few days since SSK, so some of my stuff's got kind of dispersed. And so, yeah. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you all about the market and tell you all about my classes and everything like that. But if you have never heard of SSK and this really doesn't interest you, I'm going to be putting the rest of this SSK talk at the end of the podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all my whips and my foes and then continue talking about SSK. Because I have a lot to say about it and you may not want to hear it. And I totally get that because sometimes I have serious FOMO, fear of missing out, and I don't really want to hear about other people's fun experiences when I didn't get to go. So if that's you, I totally understand, which is why I'm putting the rest of it at the end of my podcast. So let's move back into the podcast and do woes and woes. I have started, okay, so I was working on the Battlestar Galactica sock, So Say We All by Cece, and I liked that pattern a lot, except that it was mostly purling. So while it was a beautiful pattern, I really just wasn't in the mood for a mostly purled sock with a princess foot. I believe it had a princess foot. That's whenever the pearls are on the outside and you walk on the knit side. So I started the Speckled Space Socks by Amanda Stevens. This is still the 3rd Vault yarns. This is still the Battlestar Galactica yarn. It is Vortex Sock, Defeat the Fleet. And it's actually striping in this pattern, and it wasn't striping for the Battlestar Galactica socks, so that's really cool. I don't have these on a sock blocker because I'm using a 9-inch needle, and I don't want it to all come off. That would make me super sad. So, I've had my eye on this pattern for quite a while, and it's gorgeous. So here it is. Oh yeah, this camera's nice. So, it's beautiful, and you kind of, well, the sock is actually going this way. So every other triangle is just knit, and then the ones in between involved like wrapping stuff. And I can't remember if this is a free or a paid for pattern at the moment, but I will link to it in the show notes, and I'm sure you can find out yourself. So rude. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing a pretty tall sock actually for me. I'm gonna do 3 of these arrows like this. So ooh, my bag just fell. 1, 2, and then 3, and then I'm gonna do my cuff. So it's going to be kind of tall. I'm pretty excited. I think I'm only going to knit 1 of these in this color, though, because I want to have this yarn for the Battlestar Galactica socks, but it's what I have it with me when I decided I got to do a different sock. But I would love to do one in a speckled colorway, so I think I'm going to do, like, some leftover yarn that I have and make the next one of these. So, be pretty fun. I thought about doing something really crazy that involved these arrows being a different sock yarn than the rest of the sock, but I don't know how comfortable that would be, honestly. So, we'll see how carried away I get. I don't know that I will get that carried away. The next, so that's the only wool that I have, but I do have some blobbins. And this is a little bit SSK, a little bit blobbins. So, every year I tell myself I don't need another spindle. But it's really fun to buy spindles at SSK or well, last year I won a spindle, I think. And this year I bought a spindle because I bought all this fiber and I want to play with it, but my spinning wheel is like too big to have with like a group of people sitting around and talking. And I found a great vendor this year, which I will talk to you more about later. So it is Hip Strings, and this is the Mistral spinning supported spindle. My goodness. And they do a great job of telling you all about it. So this is, it's an ammonite design. So it's kind of this little guy right here. The color is amethyst. The roll diameter is 1 1/4 inches. It is 7 grams. It is 9.5 inches tall, and it spins for approximately 50 seconds. So that's how they do their spindles, which I think is really brilliant. And I bought this spinning bowl with it, which has some Gallifreyan in the bottom. It's really pretty. And this thing, I actually spin this way. Spins forever. Now, it has these little tips on it because it's really sharp. And they even said, oh yeah, if it ever gets dull, we'll sharpen it again for you. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're going to kill someone. So it's crazy, crazy sharp. And it's something on both ends. So you can do it either way, but I like to do it with roll on top. That's just the kind of, no, I don't. No, I don't. I do it roll on bottom. Oh my gosh, I spin like this, right? Like a top. And even in my hand it spins. And so I've been spinning some yarn, yeah, it is yarn now. Spinning some fiber that I got at SSK from Hobbledehoy. It is the Band Books colorway. So I've got 2 little balls done so far. They're pretty cute, but they're not a very good indicator of what the color looks like. The color looks like this. I'm not going to take it out of the bag because you can see it pretty good. It's all these teals and golds and purples and navies and whites and all sorts of stuff. And it definitely looks like old library books. And you can see this is the Band Books colorway by Hobbledehoy. It has Polwarth wool, silk, bamboo, and sparkle. It's just 2 ounces, but it's gorgeous, so it's worth it. But I listened to a podcast or watched a podcast, I don't remember, but they basically said they're trying to spin one, so these are called batlings, and they're like little strips of fiber that have been rolled into bats. Now, my favorite cousin helped me unwind several of them, and then she wore them around the place I was staying, like a scarf. And so, they usually would be rolled up, though, like this. Something like that, or like a little batling. They're pretty cute. So she said she was trying to spin 1 a week, and I just decided to start that yesterday, so I'm not very far, because it's been more than 2 weeks since SSK, easily. But I'm going to keep trying to do that, trying to spin 1 a week. I just like that idea. That's just nice. So that is my blobbins. Now, I do have some great defeated foes to show you, and one of them is something that I've wanted to show you before, but I couldn't. And one of those is my Luna Soul Wrap by Imagine Landscapes, and it is huge and it is gorgeous. It took almost 3 full skeins of yarn. So this is one of the ends. And this is the center. So big and pretty. And then this is the back end. This is already in my project, if you want to see it in my project. This is what I took pictures of on the 4th of July. And so, because she was like, I want to see modeled photos, and I am not good at doing the modeled photos. My dad took the pictures for me, but they still were kind of meh. But it is huge, and it is beautiful, it is wonderful, and it is warm. So that is one of my finished objects. The next thing I have to show you is my, I can't reach it, my Trago. I'm pretty sure on my last podcast I was like, I really want to knit this. I think I'm going to knit this. I'm totally going to knit this. I got it done in 10 days because you knit most of it on size 10 needles and it's a worsted weight yarn. So it knits really, really fast. But it's this great cardigan. I made it a size too big by accident because I forgot how to do everything. I've taken the Fit to Flatter class and I did all my measurements and they're all right, but I forgot when you're doing just like a cardigan, you want to use the width of your shoulders and not the width of your bust. And so it is about a size bigger than it needs to be. Since it was a cardigan, it worked mostly flat. I get really bored with that really fast. And I did steek it. So towards the end of it, you can see here, I started knitting in the round and I did a section where I knew I was going to steek. And then I did, in the middle of that, I did purls instead of knits. And then I went back through and I enforced that with some crochet on the edges. And then I just cut it right up the middle. If you want to see pictures of this, I put it in my project pages. So you can see me steeking. But then it's mostly hidden when I wear that, even though it's bright blue, because of the edging here. Where's it at? It's all rolled in. There it is. It's great edging. It's beautiful. This is super comfy and super warm, and I wear it at work sometimes now, and I love it. And this yarn is fantastic. And I ended up with like an extra skein of yarn because I didn't even use all of it. I actually might have 2 skeins of yarn. Fantastic. I've redone how I do my yarn now too, which I'll have to do once I find my actual camera. I'll have to take you guys on a little tour of my new setup. There were people who were asking me what my crafting room looked like before. Before it was everywhere, but now it's much more centralized and I really like it. My next FO, so I guess it's behind me on the bed because I usually sit next to it instead of across from it, or in front of it, is the Bernadette lace blouse. This is for my mom. I was going to keep it, but then I was like, this is much more my mom than me. It came out really big. Really big. Really, really big. So, I'm going to wash and dry it because this is the Nerd Girls Winning yarn, in the Rad Storm colorway. And so, it's made to be washed and dried. So, I think the lace is really pretty though. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's like that on both sides. The sides match. So, extra awesome. The original pattern has a pretty boaty neckline, and I did not dig that, so this is as wide as my neckline is. So it's just like right there. But it's a nice big cover-up or longer t-shirt kind of thing. I still need to wash and dry and give it to my mom, but I was waiting to do it until I showed you guys, of course. Those are my 2, well, I guess 3 defeated foes. So now, if you do not want to hear about SSK, then you can just scoot along, and I will not be mad. I won't even know, honestly. And if you want to hear about SSK, stick around. So this may have been my favorite SSK so far, but I think every year I like it a little bit more because I feel a little bit more comfortable. Normally I only take 1 class, and this year I signed up for 2 classes, and they were both on Thursday. So Wednesday I checked in, and met a bunch of new friends, several named Rebecca, like me, and so we became Tribeca, even though there was 4 of us, because there would be 1 Rebecca, and then they would refer to the others as the Tribeca. It was pretty great. And I ate at San Antonio Taco Company, which is a classic favorite of mine. It's within walking distance, and the menu is one of those kinds that you fill out, like 1 of these, 2 of those, some of that. It was pretty great. So I took classes all day Thursday from Jillian. She's a spinning, I want to say her last name is Marino? I should really know this. From Jillian. And the first class was about fractal spinning. Now, I've done fractal spinning before, but I really want to take a class on it because most of the stuff that I learned is just by reading things on the internet. And it's different when you learn it in person, and it was different. And then the second class I took was about spinning and plying. And it was fascinating. She's a fantastic teacher. If you ever get the chance to take any of her classes, definitely do. Because they're amazing. And then Wednesday I had a free day. Or I'm sorry, So Wednesday I checked in. Thursday was my class. Friday I had a free day. I went to House of Yarn and picked up a couple of goodies. They were having a sale of sorts, so I got some Miss Crosby Steamer Trunk and Squid Ink colorway for super discounted, and I got this great BB-8 yarn. Not discounted, but still great. And that is by, sorry, my tag fell off. Whoop. It is by Eat Knit Dye. It's the self-striping silk yarn, and here's a picture of what it'll look like knit up. So pretty freaking cute. So who doesn't love BB-8, right? So that was pretty exciting, and I think that's the day that we ate sushi in Nashville. It was really, really good, and I had Jenny's a couple times, also amazing. Jenny's is a great ice cream place in Nashville. And then they're in a couple other places too, but they do seasonal ice creams based on like fresh ingredients, which is awesome. So on Thursday night, it's the try it on room, and I took my octopus sweater, and it kind of became a hashtag on Instagram. Here are some pictures. I was completely flattered and blown away. I think it would have been the first year I took it to SSK. So it was really cool to get that kind of response from it. Yeah, it was awesome. And then Friday night was the tasting room, which is when you try different types of wheels and needles and all sorts of stuff. And I have been considering selling my wheel to buy a different wheel. And so I looked at the Ashford Joy, which is like my wheel, but it is more foldable. Because the problem that I have with my wheel is that I just don't like taking it places. Like, it's not huge, but it's just awkward to carry. I'm going to hold off a little bit longer because I spent my funds at the SSK market. That's my crafting fund for now. And I have a friend who might be interested in buying it, but she's not quite ready to buy either, so it's all going to be okay. So I looked at the Ashford Joy, which is considerably more expensive than my wheel is, so I would have to save for a little while before that'd be a possibility. But I really like how it folds up and how it's engineered. But one wheel I didn't see, but I got to play with later, was a pocket wheel. And you have to, like, get on a waiting list for those things. You have to make a deposit, and then maybe 2 years later, you can finally get your wheel. Like, it's insane. But they spin like butter, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. And they're only, I think, 18 inches tall, so they're just like this, like a little pocket wheel. And I can just see myself, like, really enjoying that, honestly. So, I don't know. I haven't made my mind up about anything. I don't have to decide right now. There's no hurry. There's no rush. I'm not waiting on a wheel just because. So, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. If you would like to weigh in, I would love to hear about that. So Saturday we have the market, and we get a market bag, which this year it's over there. We get a market bag, and this year it would like even fold up inside itself, but they were smaller than last year, so I felt like I didn't buy as much stuff, which is really okay. I actually probably bought more stuff, but that's because I saved up better for it this time. So like I mentioned before, hip strings became one of the big spots that I would hit. So let me show you a few things that I got from them. Okay, so at SSK, we kind of do this thing where we go to the market and do show and tell, and then go back to the market and do show and tell. And you see things that you didn't see the first time when people are just sitting in front of you, showing you the 5 or 6 things they purchased. You're like, dang, I really gotta go get that. So the first thing that I bought from Hip Strings was the Exploding TARDIS 2. Look at those colors. That looks like it's going to be beautiful spun up. It is 96.25% merino wool and then 3.75% stellina. It's 4 ounces. These are not expensive at all. And so then I was looking at them with my friends, and they were like, oh, did you see all their unicorn stuff? And I was like, what? No. So I went back, and I got this one, which is called Soulmate, and it is very unicorny. I'm not sure how great that's going to look spun up, but it's really fun. And someone was like, oh, you like the unicorn things. Did you see their unicorn sampler? No. So I went back and I got the unicorn sampler, and it has all their different unicorn colorways. I'm sorry, I'm getting used to this camera still. All the different unicorn colorways from lightest to darkest. They're all in there, and it's a big sampler kit. So I might spin this all as mini skeins. I don't know how I want to do it. And then I really liked them, so I had to get one more thing. And this is Unicorn Seeking Soulmate. And so it's actually in this box. It is this one down here, I believe. There it is. And it is also 4 ounces. It is the same thing, 96.25% merino wool, 3.75% stellina. And so that was my biggest, most fibery purchase. So the first time I went, I did not get a Fat Squirrel bag, and I kind of regretted it. So last year I got the bag, and it has this cute little marker on it saying what year it is, and it's SSK, and this year I got the bigger bag because I don't have a good sweater size bag. So it's pretty stinking huge, and it's pretty stinking cute. And the tag for it is over here. Ta-da! So that's pretty fantastic. I love Fat Squirrel Fibers. Her bags are amazing. I did buy one more during the market. It is this cutie right here. I'm sorry, I've got other stuff in my other hand. And so I really liked that purchase. I think this would be obvious, the moving thing, but it's hard when you're seeing yourself in reverse. So that's the other bag that I got, and it has all sorts of cute things on it. And there's a fox, and wilderness, and snails. And then there's a raffle the first night and the last night, so Wednesday and Saturday. And I usually win quite a few things, but this year I only won one thing. And it was by Classy Squid Fiber Company. This is the Icelandic Dreams mini bags. And they're all in rainbow colors. And they are so soft, I can't even describe how soft they are to you. But they have American Targhee, Natural Gray Shetland, Mulberry and Tussa Silk, Faux Cashmere, Firestar, and Silk Noil. You guys, I'm pretty excited to spin these up. And they're crazy soft. They're so soft that when I got them, I was like, oh my gosh, her stuff is incredible. I have to buy more from her right now. So I went on her online shop and bought these poonies. This is the Tumult colorway. It has Rambouillet, Polwarth, Corriedale, Tussa Silk, Cashmere, Bamboo, and Nylon, and this is 2 ounces. But look how pretty they are. I'm not going to take them out of the bag, so I'm going to avoid extra crinkling if possible. So you know I went to Hobbledehoy, and one of the things I got was this beautiful Emerald City fiber. It makes me think of Ninja Turtles. It's much more green than I'm getting from the camera. It looks really teal through there. So, but this is merino wool and silk. It's an 80-20 blend, and it's gorgeous. Look at it. The other place that I always try to hit is Miss Babs. And now I've got the Miss Babs Yowza What a Skein, and I still haven't knit anything with them. So this time I wanted to get something that I knew I would make something with. And I've had these dreams of fingering weight cardigans and sweaters, which you can tell from the stuff that I bought from SSK. I think I showed you last podcast that, you know, 6 skeins, that equals like 3,000 yards. So this time I got this big old fella. Now this is, let me get the tag, I stuck it inside so I wouldn't lose it. So much yarn. This is Miss Babs Katahdin. I don't know if you can read that. In the Zing colorway. And I think this is going to be a pavement sweater. I've gone back and forth on this a lot. I was like, maybe it's going to be ink, which is a cardigan that has cables on it. Maybe it's going to be pavement, and I'll do some really fun color work with this sparkly yellow. Right? But I think I just want to make a really boring cardigan. However, I'm not sure that I can make a really boring cardigan, because normally I make like this outrageously crazy stuff with, outrageously crazy stuff with color work and 15 different levels of wow to it, and octopus sweaters and all sorts of things. And so I may get bored and add a couple little details around the top of it, but it's not made, pavement's not made to be that kind of sweater. And I don't have a lot of solid colored stuff in my wardrobe. I know, you're shocked. So I could use a few more things. So I'm going to show you one more thing of yarn that I bought, but I'm going to save the rest for later. I know seeing people buy tons of yarn all at once can give some people a little bit of anxiety. I did save up for it. I was financially prepared, but I get that that's maybe not the case for you. And so I'm not trying to shove all my purchases in your face, and that's why I put this at the end, because maybe you don't want to watch it. But it is exciting to see all the different kinds of vendors and what they had and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm going to split it up. I have a couple more other fibery things, a couple more yarny things to show you next time, but I have plans for a lot of them, including the Miss Babs, and so I didn't want to start working on a project and then show you the yarn. So I'm just trying to show you some of my favorite things that I bought, and there's much better stuff in my box even, but I don't want to overwhelm you. But there were a lot of good vendors this year. There's always good vendors, but I don't know, found more things that I needed this year. I bought more fiber than I thought I was going to be buying, but I took a lot of spinning classes, and so that influenced how I was buying my fiber. It's true. So the last thing I'm going to show you is the lollipop yarn I bought for me, because I bought the blue one for you guys. This is another Auld Lang. This is another Auld Lang Syne. Can't read today. It is on the Gripes base, and it has these 4 coordinating color balls. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. But here is the yarn itself. It is gorgeous. I have never knit with lollipop yarn before, so I'm pretty excited for that. Really excited, actually. So we'll just see how it goes, you guys. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I think that's enough for now, though I feel like I've talked your ear off. So remember, whether you're off at some great summer knitting retreat or you're just sitting at home and relaxing, I'll knit with you. Bye, guys.